Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my honest review and what it's like to own a 300 plus thousand mile first gen Tundra. Alright, so a brief history on this truck. I've had it for 7 years this year. When I got it at 280,000 miles, and now it has 340,000 miles. And when I purchased it, it was bone stock, in pretty rough shape. So I'm basing my review off the condition of my truck. Of course, that could be different depending on what you purchase your truck at. So really, I just want to talk about just the realistic ownership of these trucks. I know there's a lot of hype around the first gen Tundras, the 4.7 V8s, Toyota in general. And I am a huge Toyota fanboy, but I just want to be realistic what you can expect with a truck that's, it's got high mileage. It's, this one's 24 years old. All right, to start off with things that I love about this truck. Number one is going to be the 4.7 V8, the 2UZ FE. Original engine in this, 340,000 miles, still starts up every time and runs great. Along with that 4-speed transmission, it still shifts just fine, and it's reliable, never had any issues with it. Just another great thing about these trucks is that they just keep on going. I use this truck. I went to college in it. I drove 8 hours back and forth multiple times a year, and it never had any issues. It never let me down. Taking long road trips in it. As you can see, I built it up as an overland rig, so I've wheeled this thing through up mountains, through mud holes, and all over the place. And it's done great. Very capable rig. And now I'm even towing trailers with it, and it still just keeps on going. These trucks are really built to last. Now, to get into the issues or things that I've had to replace since owning this truck, of course, this is all subject to the condition of your truck and how it is when you're going to purchase it, or how you've maintained it. Of course, like I had said, this truck, when I purchased it, wasn't exactly in the greatest condition. As you can see here, many dents, scratches, and other things like that. The tailgate was completely smashed in. Had to replace that. All right, so starting with the suspension, and specifically the front end, I've had to replace the entire front end on this truck. Every single piece on the front end was bad. Your tie rods, the steering rack, lower control arms, the struts, the springs, all the ball joints, of course, CV axles, sway bars, all of it I've had to replace. They were all worn out. So that's just something you could expect, especially those lower control arms. That's something that's overlooked. A lot of times people know about replacing the lower ball joints, but they should be replacing with the OEMs, and sway bar bushings, tie rod ends, stuff like that. But one thing that was a real pain that you could probably expect is the lower control arms. I'm in the south, and mine were still seized into the subframe, and I had to cut them out, and that was a big pain to have to do that. So that's just something you could expect with the front end. All right, on to the rear. Kind of expected, but The leaf springs on these things, if it's if that truck had hauled a lots of weight its life, your leaf springs are probably going to be shot. So this truck, I've added a add a leaf to it, and it does well. My leaf springs still have plenty of life in them, but I've noticed on other trucks, the leaf springs tend to just wear completely out. Also, shocks. My shocks were bad. Replaced them with Bilstein 5100s, so that greatly improved things. And while we're under here, talking about drive shafts, I've had to replace every U joint on the entire system. So front and rear drive shafts, I've had they all my U joints went bad at some point, so I had to replace that. That's just something you could expect. And another thing to expect from these trucks, especially ones that are higher mileage like my own, which I've had happen to me, is the seals. So pinion seals, output input seals, um, differential seals, where whatever it may be. I have had the output seal go out on my transfer case, and also just other seals, your engine seals, your rear main seals, your oil pan seal. Um, I have some oil leaks on this truck for sure, and the rear main seal, we all know that that's not a very easy one to fix. And that leads me to the oil pan seal, which on these trucks, if you have a four-wheel drive, is very difficult to do. You either had to drop the front diff out or lift the engine out of the truck, which is very costly. Or if you want to do it on your own, that's very difficult to do. So I've just kind of lived with it, but that's just something you could also expect. All right, and moving on to the engine. I've had to replace pretty much every accessory in the engine, the starter, alternator. Um, I've had to do a radiator, of course, timing belt and water pump. Um, so again, that's just something that you're gonna need to expect with a truck that's got you know 300 plus thousand miles or whatever you're looking at, or a truck that's 24 years old. All right, just to discuss brakes. Um, so these trucks are known for having pretty bad brakes. So I've upgraded to the 13 WL calipers and rotors, and that's improved it some. And just expect with the rear drum brakes, they're just not going to do that much. For me, I know they're supposed to have self adjusters. I'm having to adjust them myself all the time. I don't know if that's something that I've done an improper setup on, but I'm always adjusting mine just to get some better braking out of them. Another thing that I've had go wrong on this truck is the rubber brake line on, I believe it was the passenger side, started collapsing in on itself. So one day I'm just driving down the road and I start getting some really aggressive pulling to one side when I'm braking, and it turns out one of the rubber brake lines started going bad. So I replaced those with some steel braided brake lines, and it fixed it up perfectly. All right, and moving along to the interior, here's another issue with these trucks. The doors don't want to stay open after a while. It ends up going bad. Can't remember exactly what that's called that keeps the door open, but anyways, those go bad. So it's just something I had to replace on the driver's side, and I haven't done it on here. As you can see, plastics start wearing out on these trucks. So this has broken off. The one over there completely broke off. And moving along to the back, the door handle over here has broken off. And for me, another downside of this truck is just going to be, the rear seat space. This is my seat in a driving position. I'm about 5'9". So as you can see, my knees are right up against the seat. This back portion it's just straight up and down, so it's not very comfortable for a long period of time. All right, so here on the driver's side, another thing you can expect with these trucks is the door seals. As you can see, mine is trashed. So I guess over years and years and years, they just wear out, and just something that you're gonna have to take a look at and see if you need to replace yours. Another thing is going to be these seat belts. So, for example, this is something that happens pretty regularly when you get in and out of these trucks. Take your seatbelt on and off. The seatbelts don't retract back, so a lot of times you're going to have to pull them back up like this, and just keep an eye out for them because a lot of times you're going to close them in the door. And that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you would go ahead and please subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff. Let me know what your experience is like with your first gen Tundra, how many miles you have on yours, what you've had to do to yours, and let me know what you want to see on this truck. There's many more videos to come. I'm going to be taking it out overlanding here soon. We'll do a towing video with it, and anything else you want to see, just let me know. Thanks for watching.